Hello and welcome. Hope you're all enjoying your vacation. I'd like to share with you a short Dvar Torah on Parshas B'Shalach Shabbos Shira, the Dvar Torah for this upcoming week. So many of you may have heard of, or if not, I'm teaching you for the first time, about the Great Blondini. In the 1900s, in the early 1900s, there was a man, a daredevil, by the name of the Great Blondini, who lived near Niagara Falls, near the Niagara River. And one morning, he was feeling rather courageous and adventurous. He went into the Niagara River and tied a tightrope across the Niagara River. And already in the morning, people saw what he was doing. He had a small crowd gather around to see what he was about to do. And he asked the whole crowd, "Do you believe in the Great Blondini?" And this small crowd screamed, "We believe in the Great Blondini!" "And do you believe that I can walk across a tightrope?" "Of course we believe in you!" And he went across the entire tightrope across the Niagara River. And he came back, and now there were not 10 or 20, there was 30, 40, 50 people gathered around to see what he was going to do next. And in his hand was a blindfold. And he said, "Do you believe in the Great Blondini?" And they all screamed, "We believe in the Great Blondini!" And he said, "Do you believe that I will walk across the Niagara River on this tightrope, blindfolded?" And they said, "We believe!" And he took his blindfold, he put it on, and he walked across the entire Niagara River on a tightrope, blindfolded. And he came back, and he wasn't done. He came back, and now in his hand was a wheelbarrow. And he turned to the crowd of over 100 spectators, and he said to them, "Do you believe in the Great Blondini?" And they said, "We believe in the Great Blondini!" "Do you believe that I can walk across the Niagara River on a tightrope with a blindfold and with a wheelbarrow?" And they said, "We believe in the Great Blondini!" Said, "If you all believe in me, I need a volunteer. Who would like to go in the wheelbarrow?" And a hush went across the crowd. Nobody volunteered. There's something similar in our parsha. The Jewish people are running away from Paro and his men. Thousands of Egyptians are chasing, a whole army is chasing the Jewish people, and the Jewish people are running away, being protected divinely by HaKadosh Baruch Hu and by Ananei HaKavod, protecting them as all the arrows get deflected off of the Ananei HaKavod, the force field of Hashem. And all of a sudden, they're running, and they get stuck. On one hand are the Egyptians. On the other is the Yam Suf. And what are they to do? And they all say to Moshe, Perek Yud Aleph, Pasuk Yud Aleph, "Vayomer Moshe, mibli ein kvarim b'Mitzrayim, l'chachtanu la'amut b'midbar." Moshe, you took us out, all the way out of Mitzrayim, to have us killed over here in the desert? Mazot asita lanu lahotzianu miMitzrayim. Why would you take us all the way over here to take us out of Mitzrayim? We're already okay. We could have been left in Mitzrayim. Moshe, why did you take us out? Halo ze hadavar asher dibanu elecha b'Mitzrayim le'mor. Did he already tell us in Mitzrayim? Chadal mimenu v'navdat Mitzrayim. We're done worshipping in Egypt. We're going to leave. We're going to go to a better place. And the Jewish people lacked faith. They didn't believe in Moshe. They didn't believe in the dream that Moshe Rabbeinu gave to them. And ultimately that HaKadosh Baruch Hu promised to them. They lost their faith. And Moshe says to them, "V'yimer Moshe la'am, al tira'u, hityatzivu u'r'u et yeshuat Hashem." Stop, wait, and you will see the true Yeshua from Hashem. As we all know what will happen next. However, what's not recorded in the Gemara is in the Torah is the following story quoted in the Gemara in Sota, Daf Lamed Zayin Amud Al 37a. Look up the Gemara, because I'm only quoting a short part of it. There is a different part of the Gemara that you may have never seen or never heard before. But the Gemara says, Amar lo Rabbi Yehuda, lo kach haya ma'aseh, ela ze omer ein ani yored tchila liyam, v'ze omer ein ani yored tchila liyam. See, Moshe Rabbeinu didn't just say to them, stop and wait. He said, the sea's going to split. We need people to jump in and to try it out. Just like the great Bondini told the spectators many, many years later. And the Jewish people, one by one, Einani, not me, I'm not going to do it. Maybe his guy. And they went around, and every single person said, Einani yorei tchila, I'm not going to listen to you, Moshe, sorry. Until, as we know, Kafatz, Nachshon ben Aminadav, the brother-in-law of Aaron HaKohen, jumped into the Yam, and from there the entire Yam Suf split as a result of the belief, the emunah of Nachshon. And the rest is history. The Jewish people go across the Yam Suf, as we all see in our pictures in our Haggadot, 12 different sections, and they all go through. The Mitzrim try to go through, and they drown in the Yam Suf. But now I have a question, I have a problem with this. How could it be? Let's turn back about a year. A year ago from this point, when the Jewish people left Egypt, the Makos had just started to begin. Last week's Parashas Ve'era. And many Mefarshim say that the entire process of the Makos took over a year, about a year to occur. So imagine you're sitting in Mitzrayim, and you're a Jewish person in Mitzrayim, and you see plague after plague, miracle after miracle occur. Dam, Svardeya. And you're sitting there saying, oh my gosh, this is nothing short but miraculous. And it continued to go on. Kinim, Arov, Dever, Shrin. Miracle after miracle. If you didn't believe beforehand in God, in Hashem, and in Moshe, and the promises that Moshe made to us, there's no question in my mind that as a spectator watching in Mitzrayim, there's no reason why you wouldn't believe. And that's exactly why the Jewish people left Egypt. And now as they're running away, as they leave Egypt, they get protected. The Mitzrim are chasing them, and every single arrow that's shot, there's a force field protecting the Jewish people. And then they get stuck by the Yam Suf. And if I was there, or maybe if you were there, maybe we'd have done differently. But each person said, I'm not going to go in. How could it be? Don't they trust Hashem? They spent a year living with miracles every single day. How could they not believe what Moshe said? What Moshe said was going to happen. After all, 10 plagues, they left Egypt, Makos Bechoros, Anani HaKovod are protecting them. Don't they know? Didn't they buy into what Moshe had to say? What's going on over here? Why could they say, how can they argue against Moshe? How can they say what Moshe said is not going to happen? Why didn't they believe? I'd like to share with you the following answer. There's two words that we almost use synonymous in Hebrew. There's the word emunah, and there's the word bitachon. Emunah means belief, and bitachon means to trust. Belief in Hashem, and bitachon is trust in Hashem. Now, what's the difference between these two? Can we explain, is there a difference between these two? Very often we use them synonymously in everyday Hebrew. However, the Chazon Ish, a great rabbi who lived in the mid-20th century, who built up the city of Bnei Brak, and a lot of the Torah that is learned in Bnei Brak is due to the Chazon Ish, Rav Avram Yishaya Karelitz. It's actually the main street in in Bnei Brak is called Rehov Chazon Ish, after him. His nephew today, Rav Chaim Kanievsky, still lives in Bnei Brak and is one of the Gedolei Hador, the leaders of our generation. So he shares with us the following insight. He said, of course the Jewish people had Emunah. Of course they believed in what Hashem did. But the challenge that they had, and I think what we all have, is that they didn't have bitachon. What's bitachon? Bitachon is to take all that knowledge that you have, all of that what you've seen, what you've experienced, and what you've learnt, and actualize it. Act based on your belief. That's what he says is bitachon. And ultimately, that's where the Jewish people were lacking. They saw all the miracles. They experienced all the miracles. In fact, their lives were saved due to those miracles. But that was all up in their head. The way they failed was that they didn't know how to act based on that. They didn't know how to act with faith. They only knew how to believe and kept it up in their head. And ultimately, I think that's a challenge for all of us as well. We spent 10 months out of the year learning Torah, learning social studies, learning math, Navi, Gemara, Chumash. It's all kept up in our mind, in our notebooks, on our knapsack, on our iPads. But during those breaks that we have, whether it's after school, on the weekends, on Shabbat, during vacation like you are now, our challenge is, just like the Jewish people had that challenge so many years ago, we have all that emunah, we have all that knowledge in our head. Are we able to act on it? Are we taking advantage of all that free time that we have to put in place and act based on all of our knowledge? Acting appropriately, doing with the appropriate midot, doing the right thing when asked to, helping out at home, helping our parents, helping our siblings. If we learned about davening and tefillah, 6th graders with Masecha Brachot, is that something that we're taking advantage of now that we're home, to daven a little bit more, use extra time for tefillah? That's our challenge. And Be'ezrat Hashem, that we see you back in maybe in a few days or a week, depends when you're watching this. But we look forward, we're excited to see you back for the second half, the second semester of middle school. And we're looking forward, now that you've taken all of that knowledge and you've applied it through your bitachon in vacation, and we're excited to learn more, to give you more emunah, more knowledge that you can use for the rest of your life. Have a great day and enjoy your vacation. Bye.